Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody in the Chelsea community. I'm Dan here. Um, I used to be on Chelsea Perspective last year, a few months ago, back in the content game for a little bit. So, welcome to the show, wherever you are in the world, coming at you from my living room. Um, but welcome to the predicted Chelsea, the Newcastle Chelsea predict preseason predictions slash transfer episode. So we're going to chat a little bit about what lineup we expect to see against Newcastle for the preseason matchup. Obviously, in a couple of hours, I think it kicks off in about 12 hours or so. Not too bad. Yeah, probably about 12 hours or so. And then we're going to chat some transfers. Obviously, lots of outgoings at Chelsea so far this summer. One or two incomings. Nicolas Jackson pictured there in our picture. And hopefully Moises Caicedo as he's there cheering for us. But welcome to the show. Let's kick things off. Okay, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are from. Disclaimer I seeing in the chat there. Uh, Disclaimer for those of you who need to know who I am. My name is Dan. You can find me on Twitter at carefree Dan05. Okay, chuck it in the comments there. Um, just check it out if you want to check out my Twitter handle. I should have put it in the little description there. But I'm Dan Hill on Twitter. You can check me out there. So I've been hosting on Chelsea Perspective before, back for a while. Obviously, life happened, and I wasn't able to host for a little while. But I'm back for now. Um, Honored to be hosting this show, chat some transfers, talk predicted lineups, and see how we go uh, in the big world of Chelsea at the moment. So lots of ins and outs. I think we've shipped out more than 10 players so far. Got rid of lots of problems in the dressing room, of course. People who didn't really want to be at Chelsea, who wanted to go and feel like they were a little bit more loved somewhere else. But of course, now we are linked with a bunch of players, and as we can see, the first headline there coming from Miguel Delaney, obviously um, very reliable source. Miguel Delaney, Irish journalist based in the UK. So he says that Chelsea are leading the race for Ajax's Mohamed Kudus, having so far put together a more convincing package than Arsenal. The Ghana international could go for around 40 million. Um, Seems to be a reasonable amount of money for a 22-year-old, very versatile. Of course, Kudus can play as a right wing, predominantly played there for Ajax as a right wing, can play as a 10, has played as an 8, left footed. If you check out his shooting statistics on FBref, he's got high numbers for XGs in the 99th percentile. He shoots a whole lot, scores some good goals. So I think he would offer a lot to Chelsea. So, Chelsea Ultra saying, "Are you from the same channel as Carefree Lewis?" No, I'm not. I am not. I am from Chelsea Perspective. I used to belong to the Chelsea Social on Twitter, and they have their own blog. But now, obviously, just doing my own thing on my Twitter account. I've been on Chelsea Perspective before, but it was quite a long time ago, last year, around October, November. Um, and yeah, so, but big up to everybody in the chat, Helgi, Santiago, and Bobby Smoky Signals. What's up, everybody? Glad to have you here. So, jump in the comments. What do you guys think of Kudus? Obviously, another name that's, Bobby Smoky Signals saying 14 players we've offloaded. As I said, I couldn't remember off the top of my head, but I think Pulisic recently took it to 14. I thought it was 12 or 14, so you're quite right there. But yeah, Tell me what you think of Kudus. Would you guys like Kudus as a player? Yes or no? Tell me your reasons why. Jump in the chat. Let's see what you are thinking. I have watched Kudus a little bit now and then in the Champions League. Obviously, playing for Ajax, I think he's quite a fast player, very strong, nice and aggressive. Obviously, very versatile, which would really help along our. And I think we need a little bit of depth on the right hand side because at the moment we only have Noni Madueke. So Helge here saying, based on research I made, Kudus feels more appropriate than Ulis in Turkey. Okay, he is definitely more positionally versatile, more experienced domestically in Europe. I think he can be great. The only fear I have, and I don't know if anybody else shares this fear is I've got like a little bit of Ziyech syndrome. He's the last player that we got from the Eredivisie. Granted, obviously they're two different players. We've got Ziyech at an older age. He wasn't quite. He was quite. I think he was 27 when he joined us. So I don't know. That just is a signing that has worked in patches, but not really. So I've got a little bit of hesitance as in terms of bringing Kudus in. But what do you guys think? So Helgi thinks that he'll be more appropriate than Ulis in Turkey. I actually like Michael Ulis. I think he's really good. I think he's dribbles really well. He's got a really great eye for a pass. Maybe he's slightly more of like the assister, whereas Kudus is more of the scorer. So it's maybe 6 of one and half dozen of the other. And Ulis is not as positionally versatile as Kudus. Of course, Kudus can play about 3 or 4 different positions, whereas Ulis is pretty much like a 10 or a right wing. And Kudus, as far as I know, is not a shabby dribbler. So he'd probably be decent to take players on. Not his main trait, of course, but that's one thing. Ryan Cherky is not a player that I know much about. So if anybody's got any expertise on that, please jump in the chat. Maybe you can even jump in the show and tell us a little bit about Ryan Cherky. I saw him a couple times at the under 21 Euros. I watched that, and he looked pretty good to me. But I have not watched him exclusively, so I cannot offer any constructive opinion on him. But if anybody knows, then please let me know. So Sav saying looks like Kudus deal's close. Personal terms agreed. Looks like we are signing him for 40 million. That'd be a good signing. What do you guys think of Kudus? Who do you prefer? Kudus, Cherky, Ulis? Give me an idea. Give me an idea. So Bobby saying, can't say I know a lot about Kudus, but everything I hear points to him being an excellent signing if we get him. Let's hope so. And then Rain, big up to you, Rain. Probably nobody heard him, but Ugukan Chakir is a good keeper option. Wow. I think we'll get onto the keepers very soon. And Chelsea Ultra saying Ziyech was terribly one-footed and capable of taking a man on. Also drastically lacked pace. So Kudus, none of these issues. All right, that's cool. So that's Kudus, and Kudus injury prone. I think he has had a number of niggling injuries and struggle for fitness. So we have a lot of players like that. Obviously, down the right hand side, we've got Reese, who's had his own injury problems. And then Rain saying he missed 28 days last season to a hamstring injury. Oladi Pupo, hope I said your name correctly. Please forgive me if I didn't. My pronunciation is not the greatest at the time. So not worried about Ziyech syndrome. It's a mentality thing. Ziyech may not be doing enough to help himself. Noni came with good mentality from Holland. Kudus' mentality is the real deal. So there you go. That's actually a great point. I'm thinking only of Ziyech in terms of Holland, whereas, of course, we've signed Noni Madueke from PSV, and he seems to be a promising signing. So very, very good point. Oladi Pupo, thank you very much. So I was stuck in that kind of one-dimensional Ajax Netherlands mentality where I thought he was the last one that we got from the Netherlands. But, of course, Noni's been pretty good. So still needs to kick on, still young. But let's see what he will do from there. So Sam saying, I think Kudus will be an excellent signing for us. If we can get him and Ulis, that'll be excellent too. Yeah, that would be cool. That's something I'm a bit wary of. I'm wary of two things, guys. Number one is age of the squad. I don't think we have like a lot of experienced players. Like the players with most experience, of course, outliers. Thiago Silva. We've got Kepa, got Reese. Ben Chilwell, but they're all kind of the mid-20s age. Kepa maybe a little bit above that, and Thiago is the outlier, like 38. but we don't have many players like in the late 20s, early 30s for experience. They're all very, very young. So that's kind of the thing that's making me a little bit nervous, is I'm wary of our inconsistency because young players can be very inconsistent over the season. So that's why I'm kind of not predicting that we'll make top four. I think maybe top six will be okay. But yeah, just wary of getting too many young players. You know what I mean? Because then it seems like we've gone from the sublime, where we signed a whole bunch of players ready to go, to the ridiculous where we are signing a whole bunch of young players who may only come into their best form in like 4 or 5 years. Um, so that's a fear that I have. I don't know if you guys share my fear. Jump in the comments if you want to. So Dixon there saying Kudus, Caicedo, and another goalkeeper. I think that would be the dream. I'm also of a mind that we should get a fifth centre back, particularly if we want to switch to a back three. I suspect that it has happened in preseason once, so I'm not sure if that's potentially maybe where we'll go. But I think that we need another centre back as well. But Kudus, Caicedo, and a goalkeeper would be a dream. Let me know who you guys think you want as a goalkeeper in the comments. My personal favorite is Diogo Costa. Um, so I think that would be great. Sav saying, I just hope we can announce Caicedo soon. Me too. Me too. Cross your fingers, and it seems like we've narrowed our focus on one DM target. Um, of course, and it seems like all of our eggs are in the Caicedo basket. So if it doesn't go so well, then I think we might be in a spot of trouble. Um, Great to know that I pronounced your name correctly, Oladipupo. I don't like getting names wrong, being a teacher by profession. So thank you for that feedback. So Bobby saying, rumor has it Chelsea and Brighton are agreed on 85 million for Caicedo, but are conflicted over the structure of the deal at the moment. Let's hope that that's true. I don't believe 100 million is good value for Caicedo. I think it's too much, but hopefully they can come to um, some kind of compromise. Turkey creating chances. I don't see Kudus doing this. Very good point, Rain. If you go and check on FBref, Kudus's creative numbers are very low, which is what worries me. But the exciting thing is his shooting is very high, so it's very good. But if we jump onto the next topic, we can check out another song. At us, Chelsea have submitted a verbal offer worth 25 million euros for Wahi. If you guys like a profile, please check out at CFC Central on Twitter. Okay, I'll drop his handle here. I think that's his handle. CFC, it might be CFC Central 3, I think. He's done a profile on Wahi, and obviously appears on the if you want to check out some content there, he's done a profile. Wahi's a real deal. I pick up all my information from him about Wahi. I've never watched him, so I can't say I know much about him. But from what CFC Central said, someone who's a good friend of mine and someone who I rely on, he said he's a two-footed striker. He shoots with both feet. He's very quick, links the play well. It's kind of like an all-round striker, very rough and needs polishing, but yeah, he is a very good, very, very good player. So I believe he is actually French. He was born in France, so that's where he's from. So that I don't think a visa would be too much of a problem. Big up to you, the Beautiful Game. That's a cool name. I like that. The Beautiful Game. Very, very cool. Chelsea Ultra saying would like us to try and get Kobo as a keeper. Would be difficult and expensive, but he is a world class at only 24, 25. I'm not too sure about that personally. I know he's done a good job at Dortmund. I don't know if world class is kind of his level yet. I probably be an improvement on Kepa, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. But we'll get on to goalkeeper rumors just now because we are talking about Wahi at the moment. What do you guys think of Wahi? Has anybody watched him? Any tips, any tricks when it comes to Wahi? I know he scored a lot of goals for Montpellier this season in a team that didn't do so well. But yeah, Oladipupo saying my choice of goalkeeper is AC Milan goalkeeper Mike Maignan, and Martinez, Aston Villa, number 3 Dortmund goalkeeper. As I understand, we'll get on to talking about Mike Maignan very soon. Let's just check out a couple of the comments here. So Bobby Smoky signals in total agreement about Diogo Costa. I've heard that George Mendes got involved in the move for Costa to Chelsea, but still nothing agreed. All I understand is that Costa's release clause is about like 100 million euros or something, which I think is beyond us. But maybe there's some room for us to be negotiating. I think it was James Trafford is the England under 21 goalkeeper. But as I understand, he's negotiating a loan to Burnley, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So a comment here from Tebe. Koulibaly, Syria legend, Oba, Sterling, Forta, Kova, Aspi, Kante, all legends of the game were here last season, didn't help. So enough of this talk of our squad being too young. Okay, putting me in my place. That's a good point. It's a good point. We still have Sterling. But yeah, I'm not nervous about the age of the squad necessarily. The only thing I'm wary of is the inconsistency that comes with being so young. Because you can't really expect young players of around 20, 21, 22 to give you like a man of the match performance every week. They make mistakes. Their form tends to go up and down a little bit as they try and learn to develop the consistent level of performance. So that's the only thing I'm wary of. I'm not saying they're bad players, but I just think that they need to be given some time to kind of find their feet. And we got a lot of new players from different leagues, of course, like Nkunku's come in, Jackson, you know, and all things like, why am I struggling to think of players now? We've got like Angelo Gabriel, Andre Santos, Cesare Casade. All of these are young players, never played in the Premier League before. So I think we just need to give them a little bit of breathing room and not be so strict on our standards. If we can move to the next topic, can check out our next transfer rumor. Okay, so Chelsea maintains a firm interest in Romeo Lavia. However, negotiations ongoing with Liverpool. There's now increasing likelihood of a deal being agreed upon with the Merseyside club. So that's not really a surprise. Whenever we get a David Ornstein tweet, I pay large attention to that because famous Ornstein dagger seems to always yield a transfer happening. David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano are the most reliable people when it comes to transfers. So I'm not sure if this one has legs because, of course, Liverpool seem to be shipping Fabinho out to Saudi Pro League. So Jordan Henderson was just confirmed to have gone today, as I understand it. He's not a defensive midfielder, but Fabinho is, and Romeo Lavia seems to be earmarked as a replacement for Fabinho. So I believe, as Rain says here, that Caicedo's defensive stats are far better than Lavia, but Brighton are proving tough negotiators. So Lavia would be our plan B. I think he's also more of a ball player and more of a less of the sitting six in the double pivot, more of one that likes to be a little bit more adventurous than Caicedo. So that's one thing to consider. I don't know if he's necessarily the one that could sit next to Enzo, but we really, really need to get someone like Caicedo or a defensive midfielder just to unlock Enzo. I think Enzo's been burdened by staying too deep, and I think we need to get him further up the pitch and using his passing ability and his vision to make passes and cause damage in the opponent's half. What do you guys think? So beautiful game saying Reece James has won it all. Enzo has a World Cup medal. So we may not have age, but we do have experience. These are the facts. So good point. So Sav saying that's why Mendes got involved. The price for Costa is way too high. The player wants to join Chelsea too. A reporter pricing him out of a deal. So it seems to be a problem in Chelsea. Two of Chelsea's key transfers, a goalkeeper and Moises Caicedo, that we're being priced out of deal. 100 million of a currency seems to be the magic figure these days. Something that we kind of are hoping that comes down. I know Romeo Lavia is available for around 50 million, but that might be a bit of a risk on a player who's not really exactly what we want in the middle of the park. And it's a bit difficult because there aren't many defensive midfield, haven't been any defensive midfielders that necessarily jump out at you on the market. Aurelien Tchouameni at Real is one, but to get any player out of Real Madrid is not only going to cost a lot of money, but it's probably not going to happen. So, good day to you, Supremes. My name is Dan. You can catch me. My handle is at. You can find me. My handle here is here, guys, on Twitter. Should have put it in my name on the screen, but you can check me out on Twitter at carefreedan05. That's where I am on Twitter. So Sav coming up with a lot of good comments here, but his Shields recovering from his hamstring injury is going faster than expected. Currently ahead of schedule, expect to return to individual training in the next week. That's some good news. A little bit of competition and backup for Levi Colwell. Take a little bit of the pressure off our young guy. Cool. If we can jump to the next transfer rumor, let's have a look and see what we have. Okay, so Chelsea does not plan on spending more than £80 million for Moises Caicedo. Negotiations with Brighton have been protracted and so far unproductive. Price tag of 100 million has been placed on Caicedo. So many people are saying, I know I was listening to London is Blue podcast recently when they did a live podcast with Liam Toomey and Nizar Cancela. They were saying that the knock-on effect of signing Enzo Fernandez for 100 million plus from Benfica has created a bit of a problem in the sense that Arsenal or West Ham set the benchmark for Declan Rice at 100 million based on Enzo, and now Brighton are doing the same thing based on Rice. So indirectly, Chelsea seem to have caused their own problems with the sense that um, Brighton now want 100 million pounds for Moises Caicedo, which I think is a bit ridiculous. If you ask me, for a player who's played the sum total of 45 games in the Premier League, and Declan Rice has obviously played 4 full seasons, over 100 games, played in a Euro final for England, played in Europe for West Ham, captain West Ham. So there's lots of like qualifiers for how you would say, you know, justifying that price for Rice. Whereas I think the thing is, quote unquote, justifying the price for Moises Caicedo is purely on potential. Um, Look, he's a great player. He played 37 times in the previous season. Really, really outstanding player. Made Brighton tick. Mopped up a lot of problems for Brighton and was really kind of the engine room of their team. But as I say, it's a big risk spending a nine-figure sum on someone who's played 45 times in the Premier League. You know, I think it's a big, big risk. And if you consider this, are you telling me that when we signed N'Golo Kante in 2016 for around 32 million pounds, that Caicedo in just 7 years is effectively 3 times the player that N'Golo Kante was? I don't think so. And N'Golo Kante was probably the last midfielder we signed who was like a paradigm shift in our team. And that's what Caicedo is supposed to do for us. He's supposed to move the needle, supposed to be the defensive midfielder replacement that we have wanted. But I don't know if I want to draw the line at 100 million. You know, we do have Andre Santos, who's been playing quite well in preseason, who can probably do a job maybe for the first part of the season while we look at maybe finding some alternative options on the market. Um, and so Rain say feeling De Zerbi does not want Brighton to sell Caicedo. He certainly intimated as much in his press conferences. Supreme Quad saying the Caicedo thing is just so disappointing. Even the coach has made this clear. All that time of negotiating for nothing. Listen, these big deals are always complicated, guys. So, and reporters only report what they're told. So I don't think the deal is necessarily on or off. I just think it's a very, very difficult one. Brighton are proving tough negotiators, like they did to us with Cucurella. We wanted to pay 50 million. They said we're only going to let him go for his price of 60 odd million. So we paid the money, and he came. So Brighton seem to be taking the same stance with Caicedo. We're just unlucky in the sense that we're going after 2 players who didn't have release clauses, and then obviously Alexis McAllister has gone to Liverpool, had a release clause of 34 million or 35 million, something like that. So then Liverpool just activated it and then he went. So we don't have that luxury. Obviously, Caicedo signed a new deal in January after Arsenal's interest, and then that was kind of that. So guys, 137 people watching now. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter at that link. Please, I'd appreciate a follow. And Supreme saying, Ray, he obviously doesn't, referring to Roberto De Zerbi. he straight up said in the press conference for our game that he hopes Caicedo is in the team for this season. I think he did mention that if Caicedo leaves, that they'll have to find a replacement. So maybe Brighton's scouting network is like attuned to a replacement that we don't know of. But maybe we should go after the replacement instead of Caicedo and save a whole bunch of money. So I'm sure they don't know something that we know. I'm sure that there is someone on the market, maybe not quite a flashy name, but someone who can come in and do a job. Who are some of the alternative names you guys think could come in and be a defensive midfielder? Just give me some ideas. I know lots of mentioning Amadou Onana, I think from Everton, and who's obviously Romeo Lavia. Then I think there's a couple of there's some in France, but I forget the name. He's a young player as well. I completely forget his name. Sorry. So hello everybody in the chat. Hello to Tenku, and yeah, beautiful game there. Price tag will weigh very heavy on Caicedo, not because of his ability to succeed at the bridge, but because our fans' expectations. As I say, player comes in, £100 million, you expect certain things of them. Enzo seems to have carried that on his shoulders pretty well. Rain says Chelsea scouts did so well. Big up to him. Jackson, such good signing, definitely. Definitely looks like that. So beautiful game, saying facts. Bissouma then Caicedo can't be a fluke. Let's cut out the middleman. Yeah, so there you go. Beautiful game, agreeing with me. Caicedo, Bissouma hasn't really done very well at Spurs, so that's something to consider. We don't want Caicedo to come in £100 million for a relatively unproven player, 45 appearances in the Premier League. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's too much of a risk. I think if we hit it at 80 and come up with add-ons, that's probably where I would personally say 70 is enough. That's still a ridiculous amount of money. But if you pay £100 million for Moises Caicedo, then Chelsea have the two most expensive midfield players, aside from Jude Bellingham and Declan Rice, two of the four most expensive midfielders in history. So that's pretty insane. So Supreme saying we needed him during preseason to make Pochettino's job as easy as possible. This time we spent on this is sad, and Pochettino's expressed this himself. Look, I think Poch has come in and I think he's played a very straight bat, and he's not really kicking up much of a fuss. Let's see if what happens. So let's go to the next topic. Caicedo is a hot topic, but drop in the chat who do you think potential DM replacements are aside from Caicedo. If you have any ideas, anybody you want. I know the names being thrown around are like Lavia and Onana. So throw in some names. I know CFC Central liked Ndiaye from Sheffield United, but I think he's attracting interest from the European continent. But yeah, drop some names in the chat who you think should come. What are the alternatives for the DM position? So 151 of you in the watching now. Please jump and subscribe, smash the like button, follow me if you want to. But yeah, let's move on to. So Chelsea is still looking for a goalkeeper. Mike Mannion is too expensive. Nathan Gissing by the byline. Alex Goldberg's short. So lots of names mentioned here for the DM spot. Casadei for DM or Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni would be the dream, I guess, if we can't get Caicedo. Ultra saying we should go and get Kev from Thuram. He can do everything Caicedo can, but he's better in the air and far cheaper. I know Onana is also good in the air. Amadou, not Andre. Tyler Adams of Leeds United. That's a good shout. I've been hearing about Redondo lately. Looks like a baller for the DM role. If he's any relation to Fernando Redondo, that would be pretty cool. Mike Mannion, definitely too expensive. I don't know what AC Milan are quoting, but I know it's a high figure. I think I've read 90 million euros. That's also, everybody seems to be going close to the 100 million euro mark. Just seems to be the ballpark figure these days. So yeah, I think it's too expensive. I think Costa's also really expensive, but Sab was saying in the chat that Jorge Mendes is trying to get the fee down. Kelvin Mendes, Here, Chelsea saying Calvin Mendes for DM2. I don't know if I agree with that. He was really injury prone at City, and I don't think he's necessarily a DM so much as like the kind of tempo player like Jorginho or something like that. Passes quite a lot. Oh, excuse me. And I don't think that necessarily worked out well at City. And yeah, I think if we got Calvin Phillips, um, I wouldn't be so happy. So Chelsea Ultra saying Milan want 100 million euros. So if we look at our signings, what do we have? We have 100 million for Caicedo, 100 million for Mannion, 100 million for Costa. Everybody wants 100 million from Chelsea, it seems. So let's just spend 100 million on everybody. Seems like that's what everybody wants us to do. So Phillips is finished. Supreme saying, I know someone didn't say Cal Phillips, so the thinking on Calvin Phillips seems to be very anti. So just get any Brazilian or Spanish that plays out from the back and has got decent shot stopping ability. Okay, so Chelsea going for the general option. So yeah, Mike Maignan, I think really good goalkeeper, but again very expensive fee. So I think that's unlikely to happen. I think maybe Chelsea will go big on one player in this window, and I think that player seems to be Caicedo. Um, Social Kids with a great shout here. Florentino Luis, Benfica, of course, he was Enzo's teammate. So that would be an option for Chelsea. They work together very well. I just don't know if Luis is um, maybe a little bit expensive as well. So let's see if that works out. That would be a good idea. I agree with this here. Mike Maignan would be Petacek if he joins the club. That would be great. I would definitely favor Maignan. He's an excellent goalkeeper. Also really good with his ball at his feet. The goalkeeper I actually wanted has now gone to Man United, Andre Onana. But I think Mike Maignan would be not too shabby alternative. He's very good. Every time I watch, he was really good at Lille. One of the main reasons they won the league title, and of course doing wonderful things at AC Milan as well. I like him. And then Oladipupo saying, I'm surprised Chelsea not in the market for none of Everton. Even if we're getting a Caicedo, we can add him ahead of UCL qualification. Crossing fingers we make UCL next season. Okay, let's go to the next topic and check out what Thomas saying. Here's a good question. Should we try to sign Vlahovic from Juve? What does everybody think? I'm going to pin this or keep this question in the chat there. And let's see what you guys think of Vlahovic from Juve. I think he's very one-footed, not had a great time at Juve. Also not scored many. I think he scored 8 or 10 goals in the last season from like 20 odd appearances. Wasn't so good, and very suffering under Allegri's system. You know, very negative, kind of very tactical, classic Catenaccio system. But boring. Not designed to get the best out of the strikers. But let me know what you guys think. Does Chelsea need another number 9? Are you guys happy with Jackson, Broja, and Nkunku? What do you think? What do you think of Vlahovic? Let me know. Yay, nay? Yeah, Rain quite right there in the chat saying Allegri hates football. Look, I don't think he hates football, but his tactics are a little bit negative, a little bit boring to watch at times. Chelsea saying if we could do a straight swap of Vlahovic and Lukaku, then yeah. If any cash is asked for this from the Chelsea side, ditch the whole deal and walk away. Vlahovic is a budget version of Mitrovic. I think it might be the other way around. Vlahovic seems to be the more expensive one. I think they want like 80 million. And Rain saying we don't need Vlahovic. So I'm with you on that. Thomas Bay saying Onana from Everton, height, speed, and toughness. We need that on both sides of the ball. That would be good. Chelsea perspective, I don't think we need another 9. Jackson has really surprised me in preseason. His movement, his link-up play, and his finishing have all been really excellent in the 2 games I've watched him. That goal that he took against Brighton was really good, and I think this has been a fine. Seems like the players we signed for between 30 and 40 million always seem to work out. So we do not want Vlahovic. He's politically involved with racist groups to do with Serbia. The PSG Ultras wrote a threatening letter to him, the club, saying they would cut off his fingers, 3 of his fingers. Wow. Didn't know that. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know he was linked with racist groups. If that indeed is the case, Chelsea Ultra, thank you for telling us. I haven't looked this up, so I don't know if that's the case. But if that is the case, I hope we don't sign him, because no, we don't condone racism in any shape or form at Chelsea or in the Chelsea community. So to make things worse, we need 2 DMs for depth. We have only signed Jackson for the first team so far. Preseason is half over. Okay, Vlahovic should not be anywhere near this team. Jackson is going to cook with Dr. Nkunku. Is that a new nickname there, Star Slayer? Dr. Nkunku? I quite like that. That's pretty cool. Sounds like a very official nickname. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big fan of Christopher Nkunku. I'm keen to see lots of the balloon celebration this season, hopefully. And so we're linked with Mbappe. We have routes to Real to sell for a season or 2 with us. Wouldn't that be the dream? Imagine Kylian Mbappe, Christopher Nkunku, and Noni Madueke and Mudryk in one season. I think we'd be like the best counter-attacking team in Europe. So much speed. Imagine Mudryk, Mbappe, and Nkunku all in one team. We just absolutely destroyed teams on the counter-attack. Just put 8 men behind the ball. Kunku and 7 men behind the ball plus the goalkeeper. Put those three. Mudryk, Nkunku, and Mbappe. Just let them run. We can score a whole bunch of counter-attacking goals. Okay, on to the predicted lineup. So this is where I'm going to need your help. This is where I'm going to need your help with predicted lineups for the game. So who do you guys think should be in goal? Of course, we have 3 goalkeepers to choose from. I believe we have Kepa and Marcus Bettinelli and Gaga Slonina. Slonina is still a teenager, of course, turning 20 very soon. So who do you think should start against Newcastle? Personally, I would go with Kepa. I think Kepa is clearly our number 1. But I would obviously prefer for us to sign another goalkeeper, even if it means that they come in just to compete with Kepa. I think we need somebody to support him because going into the season with Bettinelli as number 2, I don't think going with Kepa as our number 1 is probably the best idea. Especially if Kepa gets injured, then we have Bettinelli and Slonina. I think it's a lot of pressure for Slonina to go through a whole season, or Bettinelli. Bettinelli is probably not quite up to standard at the moment. So Chelsea Ultra going back to the comment on Dusan Vlahovic saying he's been wearing tops and doing some 3-finger salute to do with conflicts over there. I believe to do with Serbia, Bosnia, and Albania. Yeah, so we don't condone that. Jackson is giving me hope. Don't think there is need for Vlahovic. Not important. So yes, Chelsea, we're discussing the lineup for the Newcastle preseason match kicking off in I think exactly 12 hours from now. So 24 more likes to get to 100. Let's make it happen. 142 of you in the chat. If all of you smash the like button, we'll get over 100. We only need another 76. So if half of you smash the like button, then we are over 100. Please smash the like button. So Kepa, I think, is the keeper we'll go with. Let's see. What about right back? You guys think? I think Malo Gusto's been doing a good job. Reece James says he's apparently over his illness and he's getting a little bit better. I don't know if he's fit enough to start, but I'm sure he'll get some minutes. So I'm going to go with Malo Gusto to start. I think he'll get the first 45 with maybe Reece to get the last 45 or the last 30 of 60 minutes. Reece may get the last 30 minutes after Gusto gets the first 60. So that's who I'd go with. Been really, really happy with Malo Gusto so far. So Reece is ready to start according to yesterday's press conference, so that should be cool. But I just don't want to throw Reece into the game, essentially, with his muscles cold and lacking match fitness, because I know he's relatively injury prone, and I don't want him to get injured again. Player number 3, I think, picks himself. The centre back, I think it would be Thiago Silva at right centre back. I don't think there's much debate around that. You could probably make arguments for Trevor Chalobah. I think he will play maybe at least a half, but I think Thiago Silva picks himself. And maybe at the end of the stream, we can have a little debate on who you think should be the captain for Chelsea next season. But player number 2, left centre back, I think Kip picks himself as well. Levi Colwill, definitely a player we want to keep, player of immense talent, one of the best players at the under 21 Euros, of course, winning the tournament. If you watched him in the Euro final, he was a colossus at the back. He's got a wonderful pass out from the back with his left foot. Very strong, very capable on the ball, very confident, and doing a wonderful job. Okay, player number 4. Now this is the left back. This is an interesting one. So Chelsea here saying Matson for left back. Poch has been playing him as a left wing. So I think it should probably be Chilwell at left back. I think he's probably the best quality left back we have. So it's a toss-up between him and Cucurella. I think Chilwell will get the first half and Cucurella will get the second. I think Cucurella's had a better attitude. I thought he played relatively decently against Brighton. Decently when he came on against what should I say? Wrexham, sorry. So I would play Chilwell at left back. But yeah, I think the two of you here saying Matson at left back, I don't disagree with you. I think it would be interesting to see him play them, but I think Chilwell will probably get the call. Chelsea here saying Enzo player 6, Caicedo Gallagher for player 7. I think I agree with you in terms of Enzo. I think Enzo will be player 7, maybe on the right. And then I think Andre Santos will be player 6. I think he will be the sitting player. So Enzo will be there. I think Enzo is definitely going to start. I think Caicedo will come on and get some minutes there. I don't think Gallagher will start this game, but I'm going to go with the team that I'd probably like to see. Enzo will be there, and then we'll have probably Andre Santos there as the other sitting midfielder. I think Santos. I really want to see if this could work, because if we can't get Caicedo, I think this is a good partnership to try. Let's see if we can free Enzo up, let him do his thing. Supreme seems to be agreeing with me. Obviously Supreme destroying the board there. So let's see if those two can work together. Chelsea saying Santos played all matches in preseason so far. Yeah, so I would expect those two to start. Then I think Caicedo and maybe Gallagher will come on the second half to replace them so that they get some rest. Maybe they'll get 60 minutes and then the rest Gallagher and Caicedo will come on later on. So player number 9, I think it will be Raheem Sterling on the right. It's a bit of an unconventional position for him. He was okay on the right there against Brighton. I thought he took on his man quite well, but his final pass was obviously lacking. I don't think Sterling is necessarily the most creative player, but I think I want to see him dribbling more. I want to see him taking on his man. I want to see him delivering some nice passes and doing a little bit better than he did against Brighton. I thought he was really dangerous against Brighton, but he had some like a bit of touchy moments. And so then I agree with Sav here. I think player 8, the left wing, will be Mudryk. I don't disagree with you guys. You're saying Angelo should come on at right wing. But I just think Poch will go with Sterling because I think he's going to go with experience to start the season. I would expect this is what he's going to look at. I don't disagree with you guys. Angelo for Sterling. I think that's a good move. Angelo is really good. I think player 10, this is what I'd like to see. I want to see Nkunku play at 10 and I want to see Jackson play at 9. So I want to see how this works. And that's why I'm going to say Nkunku in the middle behind Jackson, because I want to see how this works. So I suspect Poch, he's mentioned in his press conference as well that they can play together. So I think if we have Nkunku as player 10 and Jackson as player 11, I think that should be our starting lineup. So I would expect that to be our starting lineup. That would be really cool. What do you guys think of that? So Nkunku at 10 and Jackson, and I would really like to see that. The only fear I have is Nkunku is not the most visionary passer, so that's why I'd like to see Santos sit, Enzo go forward, then we kind of attack with the front 4. So that would be really cool. But I'm interested to see whether Noni Madueke gets up to speed and if he gets some minutes in this game. And of course, we've got Angelo Gabriel as well to choose from on that right wing. and then maybe Sterling will switch to the left wing and be a sub for Mudryk. But anyway, what do you guys think of that team? Do you like that team? Say a yes or a no. Let me know what you think. Yeah. Obviously, you all seem to say Angelo or Madueke. You're not a fan of Sterling. Everybody's like Sterling should make an impact off the bench. That I just think that Poch likes him for his experience, and I think he's a relatively dangerous dribbler. The only thing that was missing for me from his game on um, Sunday/Saturday was the final piece, the final pass. So I think that's the team that will start against Newcastle. I could be wrong, but that's the team I'd probably like to see. And so let's get into the final topic before we end the stream. Who is going to be Chelsea's new captain? I'll put that in the chat as a question, and let's get some debate. Who do you want to be Chelsea's new captain? Who is going to be Chelsea's new captain? Let me know. So I'm going to explain to you my logic, and this is what I want to see. I want Reece James to be named as captain and Thiago Silva to be named as vice captain. Here's my thinking. I think Reece needs to be captain because the all likelihood is that Thiago is going to leave us at the end of the season, this new season. So I think it'd be good to have the support of Thiago for a season so that as captain he can kind of dip his feet in. Um, so yeah, as Reece will dip his toe in it and be the captain and have support from Thiago. Of course, you can flip it the other way around. Thiago is the captain, Reece is the vice captain, and then Reece gets experience of being captain now and again. But I just think it'd be better for Reece to kind of take over the armband now, get some support from Thiago, and whenever Reece is probably not fit or can't play, then Thiago is just the captain. I think that would be cool. But maybe it'll go the other way around. I really selfishly, because Reece is a Chelsea boy and he's a Cobham graduate, I want to see it on Reece's armband, Reece's arm as a permanent captain kind of thing. So, beautiful game saying here, if we win by more than 3 goals tonight, will that influence your thought on this season? Or are you going to say it's only preseason? This is a really great question that I'm going to answer, and we'll get back to the debate on Reece. Reece versus Thiago, new captain. Who's the new captain? So I'm going to keep that question up there. But this is a good question here. So if we win by more than 3 goals tonight, will that influence my thoughts on the season? I'm going to say no, and I'll tell you why. It's not because it's only preseason. I just find that the Premier League is so ultra competitive that it's so difficult to draw a prediction from preseason. And I've often done that before, where I get a little bit carried away with how well we do in preseason, then it never translates into the season. What I'll say is that winning by 3 goals in preseason and scoring more goals would breed a lot of good confidence. But my focus in preseason is mainly fitness and conditioning. I'm not really concerned too much about the results, if that makes any sense. I just want to see that the players are fit, that they're looking hungry to attack the season, they're looking enthusiastic, they're playing well together. That's all I really care about. Results, preseason don't really mean much to me. And I've never looked at a preseason result if we win. Like, I'm not going to look at the Wrexham result where we won 5-0 and think, wow, that's going to be great for us playing against Liverpool, because it's a different game. You know what I mean? So, and also the thing is, in preseason, you can use as many as like 40 different players across both sides in the same game. So it's not really a true reflection of, how the real season pans out, because you can literally change your whole team at halftime in preseason and then go in, like you could be losing 2-0, and then you score 3 in the second half. And then it's not really a true reflection. Whereas like a season, the main season is a little bit more nuanced and things like that. So that's why I'd probably say no. I'm not going to say it's only preseason because it has a good impact. It's instructive in terms of telling us how fit we are, how well our attacking combinations are working, how well our defense is working, and things like that. So preseason doesn't mean nothing, but I just don't think that we can take a preseason result and be like, we're going to have a great season because we beat Newcastle 3-0 in preseason. I mean, to give you an idea, Man United beat Liverpool in that Bangkok Invitational Cup thing last season. They beat them 4-0. Then they went to Anfield and they lost 7-0. So That's the thing. You know what I mean? These kinds of funny things happen. But so I'm going to say it won't be meaningless to me if we beat Newcastle by 3 goals. Um, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be instructive on our season. Okay, lots of differing questions here. So Supreme saying Silva should be captain, shouldn't even be a dispute. Chelsea agreeing, Silva or James will be captain. Bolia saying James, and then Liben Tung saying James and Silva. Sav saying Silva James. Um, Let's say Thiago, the new captain, James, the assistant. Okay. Thiago, the new captain, James, the assistant. Are Chelsea selling Chalaba? I'm not sure. Siaka, I'm really not sure. I think that they're in conversations with Inter about that. But I think it would be a mistake to sell Chalaba, if you want my opinion. I think we need a full centre back. Chelsea Ultra saying it will be Silva or James. But for me, I should be Enzo. He plays more games. Literally dictates our whole game from midfield. And he's always shouting and directing other players. That's a good shout. Okay, Thiago is captain. Reese is assistant. Ola Di Pupo. Okay, and there you go. Beautiful saying Wrexham slapped United 3-1. I wish we had like a bell notification thing, because that's what I'd love to see, is that Wrexham beat United 3-1. I woke up there and I was drinking United tears. This morning I was like, this is fantastic to see them lose to a League Two team. No worries. Ultra, you're good. Your typing is fine. I just hope you've enjoyed chatting. So Karabo Molotsi saying we need to keep Angelo. We can't sign the next Neymar and loan him to Strasbourg. Good thing is Strasbourg's part of the Chelsea club umbrella, so we can always bring him back. Doesn't matter. Big up D Prince. Big up Chelsea Ultra. You got some great comments. Ultra, don't ever blast yourself over the way you're typing. I think you're doing very, very well. So look, guys, I've enjoyed the show today. Ran through a lot of different topics. Do you guys have any last questions for me? I think we've gone through predictions. But before I go, let's drop some score predictions on the Chelsea Newcastle game. What do you think the result will be? What do you want to see from the game? Just drop a prediction. I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea. I think, let's say Nkunku will score again. I'm going to say another one from Mudryk. And then I'm going to say a long ranger from Enzo out in the deep. So those three. And Garabo saying 2-1 to Chelsea. Gilbert saying Thiago should be captain. I agree with you. That's a good shot. Our defense is leaky. That's one thing I observed against Brighton. I didn't like was our defense is leaky. Chelsea agreeing with me. 3-1 Chelsea. I want to see Angelo on the pitch and link with Nkunku and Jackson. Okay, very, very good point. Boilia saying 2-1 to Chelsea. Drop your predictions in there. Smash the like button. Let's get over 100 likes. Okay, 87 likes with 142 watching. So we bumped up the likes from 24 to 87. That's another 63. So let's 13 more likes. Let's jump at 150 watching now. Let's go. Smash the button. Thanks, beautiful game. Just need 13 more likes, so helps the videos get viewed. Drop your predictions in, guys. Let's have a look. We've got some 2-1s. We've got a 3-1. Anyone going with a big score? Yeah. Drop a score prediction in there. I'll give you a shout out or put your comment up. So please, if you drop the like button, put in a score prediction and like the video, give you a shout out. Here we go, Gilbert. 3-1 in favor of Chelsea. Tell me your scorers. There we go. Chelsea Ultra, big up, see, and you're telling me your typing is bad. It's perfectly fine. I agree. 3-1 to Chelsea. Nkunku, Jackson, Mudryk to score. That would be all the front three scoring. That would be really cool. Okay. Chelsea, I already bet big one. Chelsea winning the league this year. Well, that's a big shout. Supreme going with a 2-2 draw. Oh, conservative there. Why are you pessimistic, Supreme? Let's get in the good vibes. We want some good vibes. Right. Gabriel saying 3-1 Newcastle. Wow. Okay. Now we're sliding now. We were 2-1, 2-1, 3-1. Now we're slipping to 2-2, now 3-1. We've all got 4 goals, but now we're slipping the wrong side. So are you a Newcastle fan, Gabriel, or you're a Chelsea fan? Because maybe this seems to be a bit pessimistic. You swallowed some negative juice. Okay, let's hope Chelsea doesn't get relegated. Well, that was last season's problem. This season, I think we'll be all right. 5-3. I hope that's to Chelsea. Okay, Chelsea Ultra saying if I could hit more than once, I would. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, brother or sister. Okay, Chelsea till I die. 2-1 Chelsea. That's cool. Hussein saying I need Reece James to be a want that. Supreme saying no DM defense is still shaky due to that. I want to see an improved defensive performance. Abdul Razak saying 4-2. Nkunku 1 goal. Jackson 2 goals. Farron saying 4-2. Beautiful game 4-1. Misbah 3-2. Deep Prince saying at times when I watched Angelo, he played just like Jesus of Arsenal. I think the boy is good to go. Isn't loan material. Okay, Kamal saying 2-1 Newcastle. Chelsea Ultra, brother from Wales. Big up. 5 more likes to 100, guys. Let's get those likes to 100 before we end the video. Drop some score predictions. Kamal hitting us with a 2-1. 4 more likes, people. Gilbert, Nicolas, Nkunku, and Sterling scoring this time. It's 148 of you. Just 4 more likes, please. Supreme say, I know a guy who rates Phillips ain't talking. Yes, definitely. I don't rate Calvin Phillips anymore. Good at Leeds, not so much. Santiago Munoz. Santiago, give us your prediction for the Chelsea game. By the way, if any of you want a football movie to watch, sounds like the main character. Goal is Santiago Munoz, which is very, very, very similar to our good friend here, Santiago Munoz. Great name there. Very, very like it. Okay, Hussein saying 3-1. Hussein Da Costa, that's very cool. Let's hit up those like buttons, smash the like button, give a subscribe. Look, we made it. Well done, peeps. 100. Very, very cool. Thank you so much. In Cambodia, where I am, we say Akuncharang, which means thank you very much. So thank you for the likes. Okay, so Lamine, I think this is a perfect note to end the show on. Big up Lamine. Always Chelsea to the end. Chelsea wins 6-0 against Newcastle. Going back to the previous comment about preseason meaning something, you know, if we won 6-0 against Newcastle, you best believe I'm going to talk about that for the whole season. So that's where I draw the line. If we score 6 and don't concede, then I'll shout about that. So there's the line. If it's 6-0, I'll shout about that. Santiago, big up. Never give score predictions and always back my team to win. Sav, big up. I respect that. I know I used to do that as well. I used to do this thing with exams. I used to get superstitious about how an exam went. So I would come out and I'd also be like, I don't want to say how the exam went. So I understand what you're saying. 6-0 is absurd. Virgin Pencil saying that. It's absurd, but why not? It's a prediction. Let's have fun with it. Star player 3-1. Custody, Jackson, Dr. Nkunku. This Dr. Nkunku thing seems to be catching on. So that's pretty cool. Okay, we got a caller in here. Roger Pup, what's up?
Hello there. How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you? You wanna have a chat?
Yes, certainly. As soon as I looked at the actual screen, I'm like, wow, coach is anemic.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah,
So,
a little bit.
yeah, I'm Roger. How do you do?
Yeah, fine. Thanks to yourself, man. I'm Dan. Nice to meet you.
Dan.
I've been on here before. I've been on here before, but not for a while. So
Sure.
yeah,
It's a pleasure.
good to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's an
likewise.
interesting lineup. Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate for the most part. I'm not sure where Sterling starts. I think there's a possibility he starts, whether it's on the left or the right. I don't know.
Yeah, I seem to have been cooked in the comments for putting Sterling there. I just thought
Yeah,
like,
he's about as popular as an Arsenal manager here. You know, he's just he's listen. He does have positive attributes, but he has to. He's lacking confidence, and he has to turn it around. In my opinion, he really does.
yeah.
But he's experienced, and he should lead by example. I would love to see Nkunku in the 10 as the cam and Jackson 9 and Mudryk.
Yeah, I really want to see that in this game. Yeah,
and I personally would like to see Noni Madueke on the right.
Yeah, of course. Would. I just thought because he's only come back from the under-21s quite late.
No,
I think that he may not start. So yeah.
No, I get it. I doubt very much that Poch will play the team that I would like to in like a fantasy league. I mean, he has to put them. he has to pace them based on their activity, their training, maybe their physicality, because he's instituted a new fitness regimen, and maybe there's some nicks, what have you, that we're not privy to. So I get it.
For sure.
But yeah, Enzo and Santos, that's very sexy.
Yeah, for sure. I like that description. Yeah, I just think I think because this Caicedo thing is not going so well, like the negotiation. I think we
Really?
got
Oh,
to
you mean Caicedo? Sorry,
yeah,
I think you meant
yeah,
Cassidy.
just
Sorry.
no Caicedo. I
Yeah.
just don't think the negotiations are going too well. So I thought that maybe it would be quite clever to put Caicedo to put Santos in there, because I really rate him. Like I like how composed he is on the ball. I think even though he's so
Ditto.
young, I think there's really like a high ceiling, and I think we solve a really like £100 million problem if he comes in and he plays well in preseason. Why not give him the shirt at least for August and see what happens while you're negotiating for Caicedo? Why not just give him the shirt, see how he does, and if he does really well, then say to Brighton, well, we've got a player there, we can save £100 million. See ya, and then you can go spend it on a goalkeeper or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like a backup. I mean, that's living in like maybe a bit of an idealistic world. But
if I'm entering in stoppage time, I think DJ's entering in injury stoppage time.
injury stopping time. Yeah, Sav, how you doing?
Is it DJ?
Yeah, I don't know if it's DJ. I think it's Sav because Sav used to be on this like a number. I don't know if it's still Sav. Oh, he's gone. Is he
gone.
back?
He's pinging
You
off
want to
and on.
unmute yourself?
Are you there?
Big up. Yeah, I'm here. Big up, guys. Hey, big up, Dan.
Hey, how
big
you
up
doing?
to you both. Not bad, brother.
you
Big
doing?
up to both of you. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, big up. Yeah, all right. It is Sav, right?
It is me. It is DJ.
Yeah,
Sav,
there you go. I thought it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool, man.
How you guys doing? I'm good, mate. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
good. I'm
yourself?
good. Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I thought I'd just jump on. I only saw the link that Kachila sent to me to jump on. I'm sorry, I would have come on earlier, mate, but I only saw the link now.
I was
But I thought I'd
rushing
just
to
come
get
and
home. You were going through the startup really fast. I'm like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, mate. It was something like that. I just wanted to jump on quickly and say hello.
Yeah.
Listen. No, listen. I was just talking about the lineup. I think that's a good lineup for today's game against Newcastle. I think we can win. As I said, I don't give score predictions, mate. As I said earlier on, I think you hit it right on. I'm one of those kind of guys that just will never. I don't ever bet against my team, and I won't also give a prediction against my team. So I always say my team's always to win because I always got this feeling that every time I do give a prediction, it probably will end up being a loss or something like that. So yeah, always to back my team to win. But. As for what we've been discussing, in terms of the plays, a lot has been said about the plays that we want to bring in, and I think this whole thing with Caicedo, would you believe I gave a prediction saying that deals could get done either yesterday or today, but it isn't like that's going to even happen today even. So I just want this deal to be wrapped up really because I think we need to get our signings in place. I do believe for us to start the new season. We've been doing pretty well in the pre-season. I just think we need to get our players in, our targets in, because listen to Poch's comments yesterday. We are definitely lacking a few players that he wants to bring in. So I just hope we can get these players in as soon as.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And like the Caicedo deal's been rumbling so long. I've almost got to the point where I'm like, you know what? If Brighton want 100 million, give them 100 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my logic also. Even though I believe listen, it's way too much. It
is too much.
But we're at an impasse. We need him. It's all about demand and supply, isn't it? And let's be honest, we absolutely need him desperately, I would say. So I think it behooves us to get it done no matter what. I mean, I hate to say it, especially to Brighton. So listen, they bought him for 4 million. That's taking liberties in my opinion. But
really,
yeah.
Sheesh.
Even at 80 million,
crazy.
it's a 2,000% return on investment. It's obscene. But you know what, though? And they don't need to sell him. I wouldn't be surprised if this deal doesn't even take place because they want to succeed in Europe. But I believe deep down that it probably will. But I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, though. I wouldn't have thought that a couple of days ago. But they're playing hardball.
Yeah, I mean, like they did, we've seen it before with Cucurella. It's exactly what they did with Cucurella, and we're just in a
Yes.
bad position because he signed a new contract at the end of January when they rejected that 70 million pound bid from Arsenal,
Mm.
and they said because he wanted to go to Arsenal, and that would have stopped them from well, that would have stopped effectively Arsenal from signing Declan Rice, and then maybe we could have been in for Declan Rice. But I mean, obviously that's long over now. But
But we overpaid for Cucurella by an arm and a
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah, 60
yeah,
million,
we
wasn't
did,
it?
and that's
62.
yes, 62
62
million.
million.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to pay 50, and then they said, well, if you want him, pay 62, and then City offered 50, we offered 50, and then
Oh,
they
did
said, well,
City
62.
go as high as 50? I didn't know that.
I think they went high, I think they went as high as 50, but then Brighton said no, we want 62, and then City said forget about it. So they went and
Wow.
signed Sergio Gomez, and then they just put like Nathan Ake at left back, and it turned out to work. So
Yeah, I like Ake a lot.
yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
I was actually against signing him last summer, which looks pretty foolish now. Um, but yeah, I just think like Brighton are playing hardball, and the thing
Because
is,
they know they've got us by the short and curlies. They know
They
that
do.
we need him. And but let's be honest, they don't need the money right now. They actually
they don't.
need him because they're in Europe next year. So they have all the power in this transaction and they know it. And
Yeah,
I hope that our executives are making decisions on the down low, where they're actually negotiating with other people also, and we're not privy to that. Because if we're putting all our eggs in one basket, this is what gives them leverage in essence, and
yeah,
they're going to take us to the cleaners.
yeah.
But you're right,
That's
though.
what,
You're right.
that's what I
We
really
do.
don't like.
Yeah, you're right though. Just pay 100 million and get over it. Even though I really don't believe he's worth more than. I don't even think he's worth 80. I don't think hardly any player in the world is worth that much. I just think
Yeah.
it's monopoly money. It's a joke.
Yeah,
But
I just
having-
like once it gets past like 30, 40 million, it just becomes ridiculous. I
yeah,
think.
I remember we
just-
paid 30 million for Kante, and I thought that was obscene.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's what I said.
Seriously, don't you
That's what-
remember?
I remember
Yeah, and I
that.
remember 32 million for Kante, and that's what I said. Like in the space of 7 years, are you literally telling me that Moises Caicedo is 3 times the player than N'Golo Kante was?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he's not.
You know,
'Cause
like
he's
Trevor.
not.
And yet
Trevor
Kante
Francis-
won a premiership. And yet Kante won a premiership on top of all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before he came to Chelsea.
2 in a row, and a Champions
Yeah.
League, and an
Yeah.
FA Cup, and a Europa League, and the
He
Club
won,
World Cup,
he won everything.
Everything.
Except the
League Cup.
the League Cup, yeah. But
Yeah.
I remember when Trevor Francis went for $1 million, it was over double the
God.
record then. And my
Flip,
grandfather
yeah.
was like, "No one is worth that." Like it's look at it now. Pretty soon in our lifetime, we'll see $1 billion player or billion
Oh,
euro player.
goodness me.
Well, that's
It will.
that's
It will
supposedly
happen
happening with
eventually.
that's supposedly happening with Mbappe at the moment. If he goes for 300 million, then earns 776 million dollars in one. That's $1 billion. So
That's a lot of
money.
golf balls.
Tax.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I think
that's potentially.
I think what goes for us against them, I think we're the only club at the moment that's in for Caicedo. This is the situation that we're in. I think
It's a good
other
thing,
clubs,
though, right?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. But you see, what Brighton are basically trying to do is they're trying to be a big club, okay? And they're playing. What they've got to remember is they're. I mean, as much as they've done well, as well as they did
Punching
last
above
season,
their weight.
they are, bro. And if you look at in terms of history of the clubs and what we've won and what they've done, they've got nothing to touch us with, and yet they're trying to throw a player at us. Okay, that we've put a value on, thinking this is his value, this is what he's worth. I think what the mistake was is when Caicedo actually signed his extension last season, what he should have done is put a release clause in that. So if a club has to come in and say, you know what, give us 80 million, whoever comes and puts 80 million on the table for you, or 70 million, he's your player. Unfortunately, he didn't do that.
This is Caicedo's his agents or the people that he surrounds himself with, the attorneys. They were derelict in their duties. They didn't do what is best for their client, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
but the thing is as well,
didn't.
do you guys remember in 2012 when Modric had a gentleman's agreement with Daniel Levy that he could leave? And then then we went in for him in 2012, and Modric got really annoyed when Levy didn't let him go. Yeah. To us, even though he wanted to go.
Levy
we bid. I think we bid I think we bid something like 40 million for him or something.
Really?
Back in 2012, which was a
That's
lot
a
of money.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a lot of money. And then Levy refused to let him go, and then he went to Real Madrid a year later, and he's been there 10 years.
Yes, an
So this is the
amazing
thing.
quality player.
Yeah,
Can
just
you
like
imagine if we had
world
him?
class. Yeah, but this is the thing. Is like this is, and I think you're right in what you say. Is like the lawyers or his representatives have been derelict in their duty in the sense that
Yes,
in the sense that a
of
gentleman's
representing
agreement
him.
means nothing.
No, especially with a
Like
team like Brighton, an organisation, I mean, and like an organisation like Tottenham with Levy there, their word means nothing.
Yeah.
exactly. But the thing is, like, what happens is, okay, Tony Bloom says to Caicedo, if you sign this contract, I'll let you go in the summer.
It was
He
naive.
says
of
that
him.
to him verbally, right? Then he signs the contract. Then the summer comes. He's like, okay, you can go, but I want someone to pay 100 million for you. And then
That's
Caicedo says, well, that's an unreasonable price. And Tony Bloom said, well, I told you you can go, but 100 million is what's going to do it. And then what's the player going to do?
You know,
it's staggering.
I've said this before. If they bought him for 30 or 40 million, then even that is taking liberties. But when you've
Yeah, it is.
purchased him for 4 million, and how long ago did they purchase him? 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
think it was 2 seasons ago. I think he's
Wow.
had
Yeah,
what,
and then he,
one season.
yeah, he went.
One season? One season in the Prem, is
Yeah,
that right, Dan?
yeah. He in his first season he went on loan for the
Loan.
first half
Right.
to
Yeah.
Beerschot in Belgium, and then he came back and made 8 appearances in. He came back in January, made 8 appearances in the
Sure.
Premier League, and
Yeah.
then last season he made 37 appearances. So this is what I was saying: is like we're
Yeah.
paying. Brighton want us to pay £100 million for a player that's made 45 Premier League appearances.
That they
So
bought
it
for
literally
4
cost them.
million. Yeah.
Did they bought for? So it's going to cost us £2 million per appearance. That's insane.
That's a bargain.
But, I also think what's causing the issues in this deal, and I think it comes down to another thing. Levi Colwill. I think basically this De Zerbi, he's come out
Checkmate.
again. People keep saying, yeah, it's okay for him to come and say what he has to say. I remember when Chelsea were talking about other players when Jose once done it, and we got completely by the press, completely
killed
banned
us.
on it. They killed us for mentioning another player from another club. Yet De Zerbi comes out and says it about Colwill. Oh, it's all okay. It's all good all of a sudden. They could talk about other players. I mean, we've made it perfectly clear. I mean, the club have made it perfectly clear. He's not your player. We loaned him out to you. We've told you he's not for sale at any price. Yet these guys are still trying, and De Zerbi coming, oh, yeah, you know, he's coming out and saying, oh, Colwill and Caicedo in my team for next season will be great. I mean, why are you even talking about Colwill? He's not even your player anymore, mate. You know, get over it. It's not going to happen.
I think
And they've decided... And sorry, Roger, to cut you. They've signed a defender today, so hopefully that will actually lay off Colwill now. They've got a defender sorted out. So I've seen some tweets going around. They've signed a defender today, and hopefully that will actually back him off. Levi Colwill. Yeah, Igor, that's the guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll back off from him now. But
I believe this Colwill incident, you nailed it. I think they're resentful of the fact that they couldn't get him, and they're like, you know what? Okay, you want to react and deal with us like this with Levi, then you know what, we're going to play hardball also. I think this is retribution for them.
And the thing is, Roger, no one I don't think will come. I mean, I think I can only see one club. Okay, and that only comes down to something. That only comes down to if a takeover gets done. There's only one club that's going to put 100 million on the table for Caicedo, that's Manchester United. And that's if their takeover gets done. Yeah. No other club I'm looking at around me. Liverpool want him. They're not going to put that kind of money down, even with add-ons. Arsenal want him. They're certainly not going to put that kind of money down, especially the fact they've gone and put 100 million down already on Declan Rice. Yeah. There's no way they're going to come ahead now and get Caicedo.
As well.
Exactly. Maybe Man City. But then again, you know, you're thinking, are they, with what's going on with them? Don't forget, they've got about 250 charges still to face. Yeah,
250.
And that's they've still got those charges to face, bruv, and counting, Roger. You know that, brother. They've got them charges still to face. So we don't know what they're really doing this season. They don't seem to have made any signings. I don't think Man City. I think this whole thing about Gravidol, that's not even happened as yet.
Yeah, so which is shocking, actually.
Which again, we don't know City situation, do we? So I don't think they're going to put 100 million smackers on the table for him either. So you're looking at the situation, you're thinking to yourself, there's only one club really that's interested in him, and that club is Chelsea. The club already valued him at the price that they've said, 80 million, possibly maybe Chelsea going to 90. I cannot see them going beyond that. And I mean, this is where Brighton
Even
have
90 is
got
too
to.
much.
Even that is too much. I agree with you, bro. I agree, but I'm just basically saying, in case we are, we're not going to be able to get him for the price we're not going to pay the money they're asking for. At least they meet us halfway somewhere and say, you know what, okay, 85 million, deal done. The player wants to come. He's already told them he wants to come to Chelsea. And the other thing is, you don't keep an unhappy player at the football club. If he's unhappy and he doesn't want to be at Brighton anymore, what they're going to do? They're still going to put him in their team. Yet Chelsea did that with some of their players. Oh, you can't keep an unhappy at your football club. Yet Chelsea have forced the player to stay.
Hypocrisy.
Brighton more or less are forcing him to stay because they don't want to sell him for the money that Chelsea are putting down for him. So you got to look at the situation and yourself, what the heck,
But it's so incredible to me how, like, Brighton, if he goes for 90 million, okay, inclusive of add-on, and they bought him for 4 million, what is the return on investment there? Like 4,500 or like 2,500% or whatever it is. That's an insane return on investment.
Spot on that.
Of a club? What kind of a club would turn that money down?
And what have they won?
And he's 21.
And what have they won? Exactly. The only thing they've done is got into Europe, bro. They've only got into Europe now. Yeah,
it's basic economics, gentlemen. It's demand and supply. They know that we need him, hence the demand, and they have the supply. It's basic economics, and they're taking us to the cleaners, and they know that, and they're smiling while they do it.
Yeah. I mean,
just being honest.
The thing, like if this is kind of what I want Chelsea to do, and the problem is, like, there's a friend of mine who I talk with regularly. He's also on Twitter. His name is Vivek, and I really like him because he's such a sage, balanced guy when it comes to these kind of things. And he said the reason that Chelsea are not paying 100 million and just slapping the money on the table is because it sets a dangerous precedent for all the deals that they do afterwards. Because then people just think everybody's just going to come and slap the money on. Chelsea's just going to pay whatever they want, and we can set whatever price, and Chelsea will just pay it. Because that's essentially what we did with Enzo. We just paid the release clause, and that was it. But the thing is, that's why I don't want Chelsea to spend 100 million. But what I want Chelsea to do is say to Brighton, your price is 100 million. Here's 85. This is our final offer. If you don't want 85, we're gonna walk. And good luck finding a buyer. Because I guarantee in a 100%. year's time, if Caicedo doesn't have a better season or a season to the same level,
valuation goes down.
Suddenly that 100 million becomes 60. Then they've just kissed 25 million away.
But you know what, though? I actually am under the impression, seriously, that they don't want to sell him because of their upcoming season, because they need depth. They need a bigger squad because they're in Europe. I believe that's their mindset.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I'm surely, like with Brighton Scouting Network, I'm sure they have someone in the pipeline.
Sure.
Yeah, well, they do. They do, Dan, but we're taking their target from. That's Mohamed Kudus.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
We're taking them. It looks like we're taking him off them. And I think he was their main midfield target. And it looks like Chelsea are now going to get him. With this deal that's get wrapped up. From my understanding is his personal terms have agreed, and it looks like a 40 million price tag has been agreed as well. It's just a matter of the player and Chelsea Football Club and I all meeting. Player and Chelsea to meet up and thrash out the deal now. So I don't think that's going to be an issue when that deal happens. I think he could be the one sign that we do bring in, Mohamed Kudus. I'd actually rate him as a player, but very much, in fact, very highly I do. And I think if we can pull him off, that would be an excellent deal. But going back to the Caicedo deal, I mean, for me, look, listen, there are so many other players out there that Brighton can probably have. If they've got a good scouting network, they were known for this, weren't they? They were known for bringing all these good players in because of the scouting machine, bring them into the team, and then they sell them for big money. You're trying to tell me they can't find You're trying to tell me they can't find a Caicedo replacement. I mean, they've got rid of McAllister.
I guess they'll probably turn that argument around on us and say, well, why can't you find a Caicedo alternative?
Well, we are looking at alternatives, aren't we? But I think he's our number one target, isn't he, Dan? I think we have got other targets. I'm sure we've got other targets lined up, but he is our number one.
But realistically, though, who's available of that quality thus far with the experience of the Premier League?
I mean, there's only one. Well, he doesn't play in the Premiership. There's only one player who I think can match him, but unfortunately, we're not going to get him, and he doesn't play in the Premiership, and his name is Tchouameni.
Yes,
right? And that's not going to happen. So
I would love him.
I wanted him 2 seasons ago, Roger, when we were linked with him. 2 seasons ago.
Tuchel said he wasn't ready. We could have had him for 40 million. Imagine.
That was a big mistake. That one was. It was really was. I mean, you look at around you. I mean, this is other player apparently that we've been. There's another midfielder out there. I think he only plays for Monaco only. He only plays for Monaco. He's the one who actually replaced Tchouaméni, and he's supposed to be as good as well as Tchouaméni. I just forget his name now. Midfielder in. How do you if you know the Monaco team? There's one player is it Fofana? Is it Fofana? Another one who's come in there. Midfielder. There's a midfielder who's come in.
I know Seko Fofana went to Saudi from
young.
He's a young. No, not this guy. He's another kid. He's another. I don't know if it's Fofana is his actual name, but there's another player that has come through the system there, and apparently they're saying he's their next Tchouaméni of Monaco, and then and they're putting it difficult. I mean, again, when they say the next Tchouaméni, I mean they always bring this thing up with other players.
Yusuf Fofana?
That's the guy. Sounds familiar, that name. He's what? Is he like 21? Something like that?
He's 24.
24. It must be that's the one that apparently is another one that we could go and get if we need to. But as I said, Caicedo has been our number one target, and this is the reason why Chelsea are not looking anywhere else.
And it's not a secret, is it?
It's not, bro. And what it does do, though, is unfortunately it slows up Chelsea's other business, because I think if we're trying to get this Caicedo deal over the line, while getting other deals all sorted out for the likes of Kudus and for maybe Elise, you've also got Diogo Costa, who another one we're looking at to bring in as a goalkeeper. I think all these other deals are getting slowed down because of this Caicedo deal.
They're on the back burner.
Yeah, they are. And I think once Caicedo is done and over the line, you'll see these other players coming as well. I mean, we're getting this striker in, but unfortunately, the striker Wahi, he's coming in. We're loaning him straight out to Strasbourg. So
I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah,
especially if I don't know if you guys subscribe to or follow CFC Central on Twitter, but I really recommend him and check him out on London's Blue Pod. He's really, really great with tactics, like all these with tactics and scouting and stuff like that. He does some really wonderful content. So he's like spotted all these like Wahi and Turkey and all these players that we were linked with. He spotted that he did like wonderful tactical threads and insights on them like 3, 4, 5 months before people were even talking about these players. And he did a really great feature on Wahi. And he said like he's really good, really dynamic, he's 2-footed. But he also mentioned that he's really, really raw and he needs like some polishing of his game. So I'm not actually opposed to him going to Strasbourg for another season. If he could come in and maybe play second fiddle to Jackson or something, that would also be great. But I think some of these younger players need a little bit of polishing. Also like Angelo and stuff like that. I think they need a little bit of polishing. So I'm not opposed to that. If there's a clear plan.
But I say just getting another number 9, I think that decision boils down to how Broja is recovering.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I really do. I think if he's being honest with himself and the medical staff and the team, I think we may not need to spend money on another number 9. But that's it's a bit of a gamble, to be honest with you, because he's coming back from major knee surgery with that ACL. So I'm a little bit.
I don't think it's. I think he needs time to like get his match fitness and.
Yeah, some people recover at different paces, right? So
even Ben Chilwell's like not quite fully himself, and it's like over a season later. So.
Yeah, I mean he had a serious injury too. You're right.
Yeah, he had the ACL as well.
So do you think this Newcastle match, do you think they're going to try and replicate a team that they would put out for Newcastle or for Liverpool? I mean, or do you think he's still in pre-season mode?
I would kind of hope that they do, but I think that's what he'll probably do from the start, and then maybe give them 60 minutes. But I think he's definitely going to do that against Fulham. I'm not sure. Maybe Newcastle will still try and mix and match a little bit.
The last 2 games,
I think the last 2 games he'll probably try and really polish tactically. I think the first 3 games are all for like fitness, conditioning, maybe like get some attacking and defensive combinations working, but maybe not like strictly getting ready for. I think he'll try maybe in pockets, maybe that little sequence on the left, like with Chilwell, Mudryk, and then Jackson. He'll probably get that going, and then maybe something on the right. But Reece is not quite fit yet, so I think he'll go. I think you'll probably see against Fulham and against with our Dortmund, our last preseason game. I think that's where the quote unquote starting 11 will get 60 minutes. And that's what I think. But I think this game will still be like a 45-45 split. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So because I think that's what I was saying. Like there was a conversation earlier on, or comment earlier on the chat. Is like, if we beat Newcastle 3-0, would this be instructive for you on the season? And I said no, because it's still preseason, and it's preseason focus is mainly conditioning and fitness. So that's kind of what I think the focus should be essentially in this match. And then like we can taper it off in the next two matches, whereas we focus more on like the starting 11 for Liverpool.
What about Slonina? I know he's only just recently returned to the squad. Is it too early for him to get 45 minutes in, perhaps?
I don't think so. No, I think it's too early for him to be the bona fide number one.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But
for sure.
I don't think. Why not throw him in? Let's see what he can do. The only way we're gonna figure out if he's ready is if we give him some game time. Let's see.
Yeah,
or
you got to make sure that he's in shape for reaching out for that water bottle, and that towel.
Yeah.
He's got to make sure he doesn't pull a muscle doing that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, like,
I want to see him play. I really do. 45 minutes at least.
Yeah. If we draw, like, I'm not gonna model him because this is like very, very high praise. But like, if we draw inspiration from what happened with Thibaut Courtois, I mean, Courtois he went to Atletico and he was first choice goalkeeper there at 19.
Yeah.
So that's
He's a
Slonina's
beast.
age.
Yes.
So let's see. Let's just give, like, I think giving Slonina a preseason game is not too much. Like, just give him 45 minutes, see what he can do, see how good he is with the ball at his feet, building up, see if he's a good shot stopper, because Newcastle will test him. So let's see what he's like. If he's good, if he's ready, then maybe he can be number 2 and then be phased in, or he can go on loan to like quite a good European club and compete for the number 1 there. But I still think we need to. The thing is, I'd love to get a goalkeeper like Emi Martinez, because the guy is like 30, and he's probably got maybe 3. He probably got 3 or 4 more seasons. I don't know if he's world class, but I think he has world class moments. But that's the perfect age because Slonina can then go out on loan and learn his trade for 2 or 3 years, come back, and then he can be number 1.
At that age, as for a keeper, 99% of all the keepers at that age, they need to go out and play on week in, week out to master their trade. They really do.
Absolutely.
It would be holding him back if he sits on the bench. That would be the worst thing for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right, guys. I think we'll keep this to maybe another few minutes. If you guys have some last points to make, because it's been going on for quite a while. Let's maybe if you guys want to round off. What if you got any other thoughts, we can maybe round off.
Yeah. I think my only one thing is the situation with Chalobah. I'm understanding we may be selling this guy on, apparently, if all the news was correct from the outlets.
Do you think that comes to fruition?
Well, apparently, from what understanding is I heard the person that actually wrote this story or this article, is it C365 on Twitter? I think his name was something like that. I know he's a Manchester United fan, apparently, but apparently, what I heard was from hearing, apparently he knows Chalobah pretty well.
Oh, I see.
He knows the player pretty well, and so if he's saying that is the story of Chalobah, I mean, you probably would say, you probably have to say, yeah, you have to agree along that the club are looking to possibly sell him on. I think this would be a big mistake personally, because for me, I know good news, excellent news that Bada's coming back. I'm really happy about that. He's coming back. He's going to be back in training, I do believe, next week. He could be starting the 3rd game of the season once the season kicks off. But let's be honest, guys, he's not going to be fully fit. And I still think if Chelsea are going to go with just letting Chalobah go, and we still got no Fofana. We don't know how long. I think he's probably going to be out for the whole season. You got Thiago Silva. As much as he's a world-class defender, the man can't play 38 games all season. He's going to need a rest. Yeah, so to get rid of the likes of Chalobah, unless they've got a plan ahead that they're bringing another defender in. Now, I've seen links to Mark Gohi back to us. I mean,
what do you think?
Again, I mean, you're getting rid of Chalobah, and then you're bringing in a Chelsea player who used to pay for it, who used to be who came through our ranks, and we sold him on. Now we're bringing him back.
I rate
Chalobah
higher than Gohi.
Yeah, me too. I do rate both players. I never wanted Gohi to go in the first place, but we had to let him go because of whatever reason. We didn't want to keep him at the club for unselfish reasons. He sold him, yeah, and he needed to play games, which was great, which was understandable. But now you got Chalobah, who only signed. I know people say contracts don't mean nothing in football nowadays, but he signed a contract last season. He wants to stay at Chelsea. He doesn't want to leave, and yet here we are wanting to get rid of a player that doesn't want to leave your football club.
Doesn't make sense. Does it?
And then people say there's no loyalty in the game anymore.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Why would you get rid of a player that we clearly don't need to get rid of because of our defensive situation?
And doesn't want to leave.
And he wants to stay. He's come through the Chelsea youth ranks. He wants to stay. And yet we want to cash in on him. I mean, I find that very weird. Find that strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't see any harm in keeping Connor and Chalobah for one more season.
Ditto. I want to see what this coach and staff can do with these players.
Yeah. Why
I'm
do we
really
need to sell them? I mean, both of them. Like, I think Connor has another 2 years on his deal at least, and Trevor has like four years left, or at least 3 years left.
No, he signed an extension. I think he's on a 5 year. I think he signed a 5-year contract, an extension. I do believe it was last season, didn't he?
That, yeah.
He signed. So I think he's got about 4 years now, maybe, or four, like you said, 4 or 5 years, or 4 years left now on his current contract.
Yeah,
I've got to double check that. I've got to check it, but I think it's about that.
But he's in line with the new salary guidance, so to speak. He's not on massive wages, heavily incentivized, which is good. You know, so I'm really shocked that if we do indeed we lose him.
I think we need Trev because he can play centre back, right back, and in defensive midfield as well.
Yes,
I think it'd be a mistake, and I think he's also not the type of player who's going to kick up a fuss if he's not first choice. No. So I think it would be a big mistake to let him go. I mean, he wasn't first choice last season, and he towed the line. He played, and he started an FA Cup final like cold. He wasn't even expecting to. He hadn't played for like 5 or 6 games. Comes in and delivers a solid 8 out of 10 performance.
And look at his right back play too.
He kept he's pretty good, and he kept Luis Diaz quiet for the whole game. So I think it'd be a mistake to sell Trev. I'm not saying he's like world class because I don't think he is.
No.
But I think he's like a solid 7 out of 10.
Yes, and he can get better. Don't forget, he's young. He's not in his prime yet. Yeah, you can improve. It's especially with good coaching. Give him a year or two under solid, consistent coaching and see where he advances. I think this
he has the right coach, and he has the right coach to do it under as well.
Yeah,
with Poch's experience with the young players,
exactly.
He only betters them, doesn't he?
Look what he did to Dyer.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It really is. I mean, I really hope the club think before they decide to do this, because, as I said, we centre backs at the moment. We were very strong in that position to start the season. When we were all saying, Roger, we were saying, weren't we, Roger? That that's one position not to worry about.
Yeah,
it's the rest of the team you need to think about. And now, what we've happened? We've had Fofana go down on us. We've had Badashile is only just going to be coming back. Koulibaly sold. So we
went from 7 centre backs to 4.
Yeah. And obviously now Corwell is back, so he makes up one of those numbers. But still, you're still short.
It's not ideal, is it?
Nah,
Yeah.
not at
The
all.
one thing I'll say is if Brighton want us to give them Colwell for Caicedo, they can run and jump at themselves.
Yeah, take a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got it perfectly
All right.
clear. It's not for sale. Simple.
All right, gents. So I think we're going to
Yeah,
round off unless you guys have anything else to add. I think we'll kind of maybe
No.
end the show here. But I just want to give a couple shout outs to a lot of the active members, both to you, Roger, and Sav. Thanks so much for joining in. But just a couple of the people in the chat, like Supreme, Chelsea Ultra, Beautiful Game. Sav, obviously you were in the chat, but you've joined us now.
Yeah.
So thank you again for getting involved. Lots of Chelsea. All of you guys, big shout out to all of you. Thank you for joining in the chat. And thank you for all the good questions and everything. Early on, of course, we had Kamal in there, Santiago Munoz, Lamin there, Kamal, all of you again. Just want to thank you guys for all the support and for smashing the like button. We got over 100 likes for dropping predictions, opinions. So really appreciate it. I think we had a good show. I'll be back on soon, and hopefully you guys will get to know me. But yeah, I really appreciate everything. Big up to you, Roger and Sav. Please jump on
It's
again.
a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you, mate.
great
Pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, likewise. Great to meet you guys. Let's hope for a big win against Newcastle.
100%.
And some good fitness, good conditioning. Touch wood, no injuries or anything bad happening. And we just get some good cohesion, good confidence, continue the good feeling. It's nice to talk about Chelsea at the moment. I think we have good problems to talk about. Lots of signings, potential, lots of good buzz around the club, lots of nice, sharp, hungry young players, a good coach. I think the feel-good factor is back at Chelsea. So let's continue this momentum. But otherwise, guys, please drop a like, follow Chelsea Perspective. But otherwise, that's been us for this show. And we'll round off. We'll see you on the next one. Keep the blue flag flying high.
Peace, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Take care, DJ.
Yeah, you too, Roger.
Take care, guys.